Hi there. This class will be less than an hour class, sort of all-round general, trying to get hit many parts of the body, many forms of movement, not going down any one particular direction. So hopefully a good overall general movement and in less than an hour. So get yourself seated in a way that's comfortable for you so you can sit tall. Feel free to sit up on some support. Let your eyes close for a moment. Let your jaw relax. Slide your hands a little bit back away from the knees. Turn the palms up or bring the hands together at the heart. Roll the biceps slightly away from the chest. Lengthen up through the nape of the neck. And we'll chant the sound Om one time. So we'll start our practice standing on the mat. You might want, for this practice, you might want to have a couple blocks, maybe a chair, if you prefer. And I think that might be maybe a blanket to sit on, but we'll see. Have the basics. So come to your mat. We'll start in child's pose. Have the big toes close together, knees a little bit apart. Sit back on the heels. If you're not comfortably sitting on your heels, then of course you must put a blanket between your heels or a bolster between your heels and your buttocks. And extend forward. If your shoulders will allow it, stretch the arms out and see if you can keep the elbows up. If you're stiff, tight, uncomfortable in the shoulders, try bringing the hands a little wider. And if it feels truly preferable to have the elbows down, of course, that is fine. If you can, turn the biceps toward the ceiling and draw the biceps slightly away from the elbows toward the shoulders direction. And then roll the triceps a little bit in toward one another and project the triceps away from the armpits toward the hands. Visualize the whole length, you feel the length of the arms, so visualize the whole length of the spine and the neck like another line reaching lengthwise. So the neck has some reach, the spine has some length. And then come up to your hands and knees. And if you've been using the blanket or the bolster, you can set that aside. Downward facing dog. Straighten the arms, turn the toes under. Lift the knees up and back. And start with the heels really lifted, knees really bent. Push through the arms, biceps toward the ceiling, toward the shoulders. Triceps toward one another, toward the hands. Navel in. See if you can lift the groins up and back. Start to resist. The shins back. Thighs back, kneecaps up, shin bones up, femurs up, heels down. And then release and bring the knees down. Come down onto your abdomen. We're going to start with a little bit of work on the floor and then take some of that work up to our standing poses. Face down, hands alongside the, underneath the shoulders, elbows up. Point your feet. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Firm the shins away from the floor. Pull the kneecaps toward the pelvis. Pull the pubic bone toward the navel. Engage your buttocks muscles. It doesn't need to be maximal, but not forgotten. Navel a little bit in. And now bring your elbows out wide. Scrunch your shoulders up by your ear. Straighten the elbows back in toward the ribs and move the shoulder blades down the back. Lift the chest. Bhujangasana. Just a little baby Bhujangasana. Baby little cobra. Keep the legs super firm. Knees off the mat. Engage the buttocks. You can try, if this is a pose that bothers your back, you can try pushing the feet a little bit apart or squeezing the legs toward each other. Move the shoulder blades down the back and the spine between the shoulder blades up. Good. Release. Rest for a moment. Then we'll do Shalabhasana. Extend your arms back alongside you. Just waking up the back body. It's not usually your best cobra when it's so early in the practice. So the idea is to use, this time around, the idea is to use these poses to wake up the muscles, nerves, awareness in the back body, not necessarily to do the deepest, most amazing cobra pose you've ever done. So again, press the tops of the feet in the floor, firm the shins, firm the knees, firm the buttocks, navel in. Now see if you can lift the legs one at a time in such a way that the knees don't bend. The kneecap pushes front to back. Now lift the chest, pull the arms away from the head direction. Shoulder blades down, spine between the shoulder blades up toward the neck. The neck gets longer, shoulder blades get heavier, spine between the shoulder blades ascends. Turn the biceps a little bit away from the chest to help the chest open. See if you can lift a little higher, and then release. Rest for a moment. We'll do Shalabhasana one more time. Point the feet, press the feet down. Shins up. Front kneecap pushes to the back of the knee pit. Pull the kneecaps toward the pelvis. Engage the buttocks. Navel a little bit in. Now see if you can lift the legs one at a time so the legs are strong. Tight and light. Then lift the chest. Roll the biceps away from the chest. Reach the arms back. Long neck. Try not to drop the head. Better to pull the chin a little forward than drop the head. Move the shoulder blades down toward the fingernails and the spine between the shoulder blades up toward the neck. Good, and then release. And then, like a little pancake in the frying pan, we're just going to flip ourselves over. So, turn yourself over on your sticky back golden brown on one side. Ready for the second side. Come onto your back. Reach the arms straight up toward the ceiling. If you like, actually, I'm going to add this. If you like, take a block. Put the block behind your head. This can add it, so we're going to do a little bit of abdominal work now. Reach the arms up straight, lift the feet off the floor, and press the hands into the knees and the knees into the hands. So with the hands you make a steady resistance in one direction, and with the knees a steady resistance in the other direction. See now, can you lift the tailbone a little bit off the floor, pull the pubic bone toward the navel, pull the navel toward the spine, push. Then if you want to make it even harder, you can lift your head off the wall. So the hands press, the knees press back with equal resistance. Tailbone tries to lift. Even the tiniest bit of lift goes a long way. The effort of lifting goes a long way. Good. Release. Rest for a moment. And we'll do the same pose again. Lift the feet off the floor. Press the hands into the knees, knees into the hands. If you can, start to scoop the tailbone off the floor, even the littlest bit, pubic bone toward the navel, so the back of the waistline is really pressing I used to think that you had to press super, super hard to make this hard, but it turns out you don't need to press that hard to make this very hard. So just that steady, equal resistance, the hands against the knees against the hands, it adds up. Good. Release. We'll do it one more time just for good luck. Now we did those first few poses on our abdomen to wake up the back body, and now we're doing these to help wake up the front body. So one last time here, feet off the floor, hands push into the knees push back into the hands. Roll the biceps a little bit out, push the steadiness, hands and knees together, see if you can lift the tailbone. If you want, you can add lift the head off the block. Keep the navel toward you so the belly learns to not push forward for strength. Keep the sides of the waist coming toward the sticky mat. Keep the tailbone trying to lift. Good, and then release. Now, pancake is nicely cooked on both sides. We have some muscular neural awareness on the front body and the back body. Turn yourself over and find your way again to downward dog. Any variation of the pose that suits you. And once you find your way, bend the knees, lift the heels, push the arms, turn the biceps up. Lift the shins up out of the ankles, lift the femurs up, away from the knees. And then slowly start to press the shins, the thighs back, knees resist slightly forward, toes resist forward, and lift the shins and femurs up as the heels stretch down. So we create stable, well-balanced actions. And then walk the hands back toward the feet. If they aren't already, bring the feet about hip width apart and then turn the heels out a little wider than the toes so you're slightly pigeon-toed and extend out over the legs. Uttanasana. You can bend the knees, of course, if that feels better in your body. Shoulders away from the ears. If your neck will tolerate it, let the neck be real long and relaxed. Look back between the legs. Lift the kneecaps, especially inner knees. A little bend in the knees. Extend the chest forward, hands to the hips. Push yourself up. We'll do some half sun salutations. So be positioned in a way that you can extend your arms out laterally. It's fine to bend the knees in these half salutations if that feels better in your body. Stand either feet right together or feet a little bit apart, as you prefer. Inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, dive forward, draw down and in. Inhale, extend out through the chest, make the spine long, and then exhale, draw down and in again. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands up. 4 more times at your own tempo. Done with your last cycle, stand steady in Tadasana. pose will be Vrkshasana, tree pose. So here, you can make this pose a little bit more supported by being at or near a wall, having something to hold on to. You can always make balancing poses more challenging if that's appropriate by standing on a blanket, a bolster, or a block, adding some height and challenge. So there are a lot of ways to make the pose a little bit more intense or less intense. Standing on your left leg, bend the right knee, turn the right toes out. You can have the heel on the ankle, on the shin, the knee, or all the way up on the thigh. Bring your right knee slightly forward, just an inch or two, and bring the pubic bone to the left. Lift the pubic bone toward the navel, draw the navel and the sides of the waist, sides of the navel slightly back. Your standing leg, lift the kneecap up. And you can have hands holding onto something, hands on the hips, or bring your hands together at the heart. Turn the biceps slightly away from the chest and lift the biceps slightly. And you can stay here, or if you can, if you like, extend the arms overhead. Roll the biceps away from the ears. Keep the navel in and the chest up. And then bring the hands back down. Release the hands really slowly. Switching sides. Standing on the right leg, bend the left leg. Of course, sides can be different, so be prepared for that potential. Find your pose. Let the left knee come just a tad forward. Bring your pubic bone further to the right toward the standing leg. And then, if you can, if you want, you can push the outside edge of your left foot more firmly into the right leg and open that knee without disturbing the stability of the pelvis. Hold on to something or hands at the heart. Find your bearings, navel in and chest up. And then, if it feels beneficial, extend the arms up. The biceps pull toward the shoulders and roll away, so the neck stays long. But then the triceps reach up out of the armpits, help give length, help stretch the side body. So there is hopefully a dynamic sense of reach without feeling like you're sort of rending yourself, becoming unstable. Good. Release the hands. Release the foot. And be for a moment in Tadasana. And next we'll do triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. You can use a block if you'd like to have that for the pose, or whatever chair, whatever other props you might like to use for triangle pose. Give yourself a wide stance. Turn the left toes slightly in and the right toes out. Inhale, extend your arms out wide. Firm the triceps, shoulders down, and then reaching out with the right arm, bring your right hand to your leg, to your block, to the floor, left arm up. If this top arm is a bothersome thing for your shoulder, keep your hand on your hip or alongside you. Those are both great options. Roll the biceps from front to back. Stretch the triceps from armpits to hands. Now think about all that work we did lying on our abdomen. See if you can lift the sternum a little bit from the bottom of the sternum to the top of the sternum, from the navel direction to the throat. Move the shoulder blades down the back and move the spine between the shoulder blades toward the neck. So you feel some participation in the upper back. And then we flipped over our pancake and we did some abdominal work. See if you can pull the sternum, the very southernmost tip of the sternum toward the navel, and the pubic bone a little bit toward the navel, and the navel a little bit toward the spine. So that all that opening of the chest doesn't overstretch or deactivate the abdominal area. And the contraction in the abdominal area doesn't negate the opening in the chest. Push yourself up, release the arms, reverse the feet. Turn the left toes in, right toes out to the right. Extend the arms out, reaching out to the left. Left hand to your leg, to a block, to the floor, whatever you prefer. First, roll the biceps a little bit away from the front body to the back body. The lift the kneecaps up, legs stay active. Now the shoulder blades go down the back, and the spine between the shoulder blades goes toward the neck, creating opening in the chest. Move from the southernmost tip of the sternum to the throat. Now the pubic bone toward the navel toward the spine. So the lower abdominal area is stabilized, activated, and the upper back stabilized, activated. Keep kneecaps lifting, legs strong. And then press yourself up. Keep the feet wide, but turn both feet slightly. Prasarita Padottanasana. Lift the arches of the inner ankles, lift the kneecaps, especially inner knees. Pubic bone up, chest up, chin slightly up, gaze slightly up. And then hinging forward and bring your hands to your shins, your blocks, on the floor. And you can stay with arms straight, spine long, or you can walk your hands back in line with the feet, bringing the top of the head down to a block or toward the floor or to the floor. Keep the shoulder blades away from the ears so the neck feels long, and the spine between the shoulder blades continues to extend toward the crown of the head. Kneecaps keep lifting so the legs don't go limp or become dull in their actions. And then extend the arms, extend the spine. You can come up with the legs straight, or if you feel like you want a little bit more support, you can bend the knees. So legs straight or legs bent, bring your hands to your hips. Push through the feet, lift yourself up, and then step the feet together. A moment in Tadasana. And we'll do Parsvottanasana. So, have at the front of your mat 2 blocks or a chair. We're going to do the hand-supported version the first time and the second time without hand support. So step your right foot between your blocks, or if using the chair, step the right foot under the seat of the chair. Hands on your hips. Now turn your hips to face the same direction your right foot is pointing, toward the narrow end of your mat. With your right foot, push on the proverbial gas pedal. Press through the ball of the foot and lift your right kneecap up away from the shin. Lift the pubic bone. Now think of those poses we did where we peeled our chest up off the floor. Baby cobra, Shalabhasana. Lift your chest. Move the chest up, slightly back. Lift the chin slightly up. The weight of the head slightly back. Feel how much more weight comes into the back leg. See if you can engage the left gluteal muscles without compressing in the lumbar spine. Lengthen the spine and move it slightly back. Now notice the distance from your navel to your pubic bone and the distance from your navel to your chest. Keep the front body long. Start to hinge in the hips, in the groins, move the sitting bones back and the chest forward. And bring your hands down to your blocks or to your seat of your chair without compressing in the abdominal area. Keep the kneecaps lifting. Pubic bone travels back away from the navel. Chest travels forward, away from the navel in the opposite direction. Roll the biceps away from each other. Shoulder blades down, long neck. Now we're going to try to come up in that same way. If you need to put a little bend in the front knee to feel strong and stable, then do it. If you feel like you can keep the legs straight, try that. Hands to your hips. Pull the chest forward and up, forward and up, forward and up. All the way up until you're doing sort of a standing cobra again. And then release. And switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Push down to the ball of the left foot, lift the kneecaps, and bring the left hip slightly back, right hip slightly forward. Lift the pubic bone. lift the chest. Feel like that feeling of cobra pose. Try not to compress in the low back. Lift the back ribs up, shoulder blades down, neck up, look slightly up, and then start to hinge forward without compressing in the waistline. And if it means yet you need to stack your blocks, do what it takes to learn how to do this pose without compressing in the abdomen. Eventually, we might choose that compression, but we want it to be a conscious choice and not a habit of necessity. Lifting the kneecaps, shoulder blades down the back, long neck. And then we're going to try to come up. If you need to bend a little in the front knee for safety or stability, do that. If you feel like trying with the legs straight, try that. Hands to the hips, pull the chest forward, 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 and up. And then release. Step the feet. I already changed my mind about what I was going to teach, so now we're going to do reverse triangle. Stepping your right foot now between the blocks or under your chair, left leg back. Inhale, raise your left arm up. Push for the ball of the right foot, lift your right kneecap. Lift from the navel to the sternum, sternum to the throat, lift the chin, look up, head slightly back, feel the weight in the back leg. See now, can you keep some weight in the back leg? Start to hinge forward. Keep weight in the back leg. Then bring the left hand forward and then down to your block on the left or to the left side of the chair. So now, it's sort of like what we just did, but your right hand is on your hip. Push through the ball of the right foot, lift your right kneecap. Put some weight in the left hand. Start to twist to the right, toward the same direction as the front leg. Lean back a little over on that left hand. Lift your chest, shoulder blades back. Think of that back, peeling the chest up off the floor in cobra pose. So you get a little bit of a back bend here. There's more weight on the left hand. Then we have tried to keep that strength in the back, but then we flipped our little pancake over. So start to pull your pubic bone toward the navel. Pull the navel toward the spine. See, can you hop your left hand over to the block on the outside of your right foot, or all the way over to the far side of your chair seat. Allow for some compression in the abdomen. Pull the navel in. Shoulder blades down, the neck stays long, but now we have sort of the best of both worlds. Compression in the abdomen, strength in the upper back. If you can, extend the top arm, extend. The bottom arm is strong. Good. Unwind. Press yourself up. And then release. Switching sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Start with the hands on the hips. Lift the kneecaps. Lift the pubic bone, navel in. Raise your right arm up. Lift the chest, even bring the head slightly back, chin slightly up, so you feel how much weight is in the back leg. See if you can keep that. It's a very stable force in this pose. And start to hinge forward, keeping weight, steadiness, constancy in the back leg. Bring your right hand down to the block on the right. You can even move it further to the right, or all the way to the right side of your chair if you're using a chair. Now lean a little into that right arm. Twist, open to the left. Shoulders back. Think of cobra pose, Shalabhasana, shoulder blades down. Long neck. You can stay here if this feels better. If you can, if you want, start to pull the pubic bone toward the navel, the base of the sternum toward the navel, and navel toward the spine. Can you, with steadiness, hop the right hand over and across the block on the outside of your left foot, or to the other side of the chair seat. And then if you want, extend the left arm up. Shoulder blades down, long neck. Strong in the abdomen, strong in the upper back. stay steady in the legs. You can bend the front leg if that's helpful. Come up to standing, step to the back foot. And Uttanasana. Feet are out hip width apart, toes turned in, and extending out over the legs. Down onto the floor. So, and set your blocks aside. Actually, you might want your blocks. We'll do Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees apart, and lying back. And here, if you like, it feels better for you to support the knees. You can do that. If you like to have a blanket behind the back of your head, of course, you can do that. Let the palms of the hands turn up. Let the biceps just travel slightly, almost more of a thought than an action of the biceps moving toward the shoulders and then away from one another. Push into the feet, move both hips over to the right, and then extend the left leg out straight, bend the right knee in, hold the right knee with the left hand, and then let that knee come over and across, the right knee travels over and across to the left, reach your right hand out to the right, for reclining Marichasana. Make the straight leg. Doesn't need to be manic level of activity, but it's not forgotten. So make the straight leg straight and strong. Let the breath slow down, moderate. And then come back to the center. Push into the feet and move the hips to the center and then to the left. Extend your right leg out straight, draw the left knee in. Catch the knee with the right hand and draw the knee over and across to the right as you extend out through the left arm. You want to be mindful, hopefully, that the left shoulder stays down. So in this pose, the stable foundation of this twist is the shoulders. It's the shoulder girdle. So the mobile part of this twist is the pelvis. Often in the seated twists or even in the standing twist, the pelvis is more stable and we move the upper body. But here, it's the opposite. So be mindful that that left shoulder blade just stays quiet, stable, in contact with the ground. Watch that the neck continues to feel a sense of length. And then come back to the center. Push into the feet, move the hips to the center, and draw both knees in. Just give yourself a little gentle squeeze. And then release and set yourself up for Shavasana. If you need a jacket, you can put your jacket on. If any parts of the body feel tired from that practice, then make sure that you give them the support they need. The palms turn up, let your tongue come down away from the roof of the mouth. And be in Shavasana. Shavasana in that time, of course you can stay here. Otherwise you can start to deepen your breath. Move your hands to rest on your chest or your abdomen. Let your knees bend. Roll to your side. Rest yourself up to sitting. Sit in a way that's comfortable for you. And we'll end with 3 rounds of Shanti.